Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play and earn games on the blockchain, such as ravenquest. And in today's video, we want to celebrate Happy Land Claiming Day here in ravenquest. We're able to claim our land here, and I'm going to talk about in this video why I chose the land plots and claims that I did, and what was the strategy and thinking behind those choices. But before we go into my land claiming strategy and my thoughts there, I want to just quickly highlight that ravenquest here is launching globally just a few days from now on March 14th. So if you have not yet signed up to try out this MMORPG from a Web3 perspective, which is very similar kind of in nature to classic RPGs, MMORPGs like RuneQuest or World of Warcraft, now is the time. There is a link in the video description below. When you use that link, you're going to get $25 in free Raven cards once you sign up and get into the game, and that's going to help boost your skills and your adventuring here in ravenquest from the very beginning. So highly recommended. With that being said, I did purchase 2 land claims within the ravenquest ecosystem. I purchased a large land estate and a medium land estate under 2 separate land sales here for ravenquest, and I was pretty excited to do so. I think this is going to be definitely a very playable NFT asset within ravenquest, and I think it's going to allow for some good potential earning opportunities, both passively and actively. So before we go into the strategy that I kind of employed when I chose my land claims or my land locations, let me just preface this by saying that there's really probably no definitive best, quote, air quotes, best way to choose your land. There's probably some factors that you would want to look into, but at the end of the day, whatever method or madness that you choose for your land, it's probably going to be okay in the end, even if you used the dartboard method. But I decided to do something, not using the dartboard method. I decided to try and put some time and thought into this and to do the best we could. Because our land purchases were late in the game, so to speak, for ravenquest, we had like land claims in the 3000s. So we were kind of at the last in line to claim our land plots because there's only 4,000 total pieces of land in the entire ravenquest universe. And so we were 3,000 and change there. So we were definitely at the tail end of selection processing here. So there weren't a lot of premium land spots available for us to choose from. That being said, I think we did the best that we could given those circumstances. So let's hop into kind of where we chose our land. The first land location that we ended up choosing was in Gilead Island here, which is this island in the southwest of ravenquest. And we actually chose this kind of green plot here for our large land estate. Now, we originally wanted this plot right here. It was on the beach, it was on the ocean, but we were not able to get that. It went before we could grab it. So we were up just a little here inland on this green plain area here, just right off the coast for our large land estate. Now, why do we choose this particular location? Well, it comes down to 3 main factors. One, we have the Gilead port here, just southeast of us, very close by. And we also have the Gilead trade post here, just east of us. And there's also a respawn shrine within Gilead. So those 3 factors were the reasons why we chose this location here. The reason for being close to a trade post and a port we'll talk a lot about a little bit later here in this video, but this was just our first location. Now our second location that we chose for our medium land plot is all the way up north here in Glaceford, and we wanted to get close to Vicar Bay. For the same reasons we chose our location in Gilead Island, because one, there is a port here, there is a trade post, and there is a respawn shrine here. Now the closest we could get to Vicar Bay, given our selection timing, was right here. So we're just north east of Vicar Bay. So basically we would just have to travel down here south and west into Vicar Bay to be able to get to the trade post and get our trade packs and basically access the port. So the thought behind us being teleporting into our land either here in Glaceford or in Gilead Island was we get free teleports to our land, which takes us close to trade posts, right? Within short walking distance to trade posts where we can put together and purchase our trade packs and then basically go look to deliver those. Now we have ports here in Vicar Bay, which allows us to, for example, take our ship and go just southeast here and go to Margrove, to the trade post here, and be able to dock at the port and go to the trade post here and deliver trade packs to Margrove. We have the option to deliver it here to Orca Bay on Sajeko here, which is another trade post and a port. We could go southwest here to Seabreeze, the trade post and a port here at Seabreeze, or we could go all the way south to Gilead Island, which also has a trade post and a port. And we can kind of do runs back and forth here. The reason why we're looking at doing this is because when you deliver trade packs to these trade ports and take the risk of doing so, well, you can be basically killed in transit by NPCs or by players because it opens you up for PvP, pretty attractive target when you have a trade pack and you're going to probably get attacked and try and have that stolen from you because it's valuable. So by delivering those trade packs, you earn pretty good silver, especially if they're a far distance away. And with that silver, you can then turn that silver, which is the in-game currency, the Web 2 based currency within ravenquest, and trade that silver and sell that silver for quest tokens, which is the Web 3 token or currency within the gaming economy of ravenquest. So by doing trade pack runs and being able to have easy access to those through free teleports from my land, it gives us an opportunity to earn, actively playing the game and using land, not only to farm the trade pack resources to create the trade packs themselves, but also then to use the ports and the trade posts nearby to get the silver, which we can then turn into quest, which is real money. So that is the idea. Now, the ports is perhaps a little tricky in that there are a lot of dangerous monsters and NPC-based PvE dangers on the open waters here when you're in your ship, and you don't have the benefit of using your character's skills and abilities when you're on the open sea. But that is a kind of a balancing factor, perhaps, because you don't have your character's advantages, but neither do pirates or player characters trying to attack you, other than if they have fast and strong ships, which cost a lot of resources to build. So it kind of equalizes that out, especially if you're a lower level player starting and running trade packs earlier in the game. Gives you more of more flexibility there, and also gives you, because you're on the open sea here, you're not limited by mountains and lakes and rivers and stuff blocking your path and creating choke points where you can be basically ambushed, other than when you hit the port and then you try and make your run from the port to the trade post once you're in the city. But that's obviously, you're always going to have that risk. anywhere near a city with a trade post. That being said, when you're part of a guild, you have the ability to work with your guildmates to basically organize your trade pack runs, to be able to coordinate, for example, having multiple guildmates with multiple ships running trade packs at the same time, which equalizes some of the PvE or the inherent monster dangers within the sea when you have more ships to be able to basically fight back against that, as well as deter pirates or player characters, out here as well if you run across them. So we'll see how that strategy works if we are able to successfully use ports and ships to run trade packs to multiple destinations, both from a port perspective or even inland if we choose to. Now, one last thing I'll mention here is the mob farming or monster farming here, the leveling here. You can see here in our Gilead land area, we have the Ancient Runes, which has some flexibility for us. Monster levels 47 to 79. So it can be used in the later mid-game to end-game for farming monsters here. Not really in the early mid-game or early game will we be able to farm here just because everything will be too strong for us. But it does provide some flexibility here for farming, later game for sure. Which is not ideal necessarily, but it is what it is. The other option here in Gladeford is a little bit worse. We're just south of Deadbane Halls here, and those monster levels are 70 to 82. So this is definitely late game farming up here. We have some options here to the west of us in the Frozen Crypts, levels 56 to 59, and also the Chattering Mounds, levels 47 to 50. But again, that is pretty much late game farming here as well. So the ability to use our teleports from our free land perspective to be able to farm, valuable monsters like minotaurs or drakes or vampires or things like that. Not so much here, unfortunately, but that's just kind of where we had option wise. Those other farming spots for monsters really weren't available when we were able to choose. All those lands were taken pretty much. So we are going to be focusing our lands more on the trade posts and the ports and the respawn shrine access as backups here, more than anything else, more than monster farming. So that's our strategy that we've employed for our land selection. We'll see if it is wise or if it is foolish at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm curious, if you own land in ravenquest, where did you claim your land? Are you happy with your location? Are you ecstatic? Or are you somewhat sad? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, keep stacking those stats.